Michael Thompson was the kind of man everyone knew but no one could quite pin down. At 42, he was a diesel mechanic in a small Ohio town. The guy who fixed your truck with a grin and a story. A devoted husband to Sarah, and a father who coached his teenage son Jake's baseball team. He had dreams, too simple ones, like retiring early to fish on the lake, maybe open a little garage of his own someday. Yesterday, he'd been laughing with his family over dinner, teasing Jake about a bad pitch, planning a weekend barbecue. An ordinary life, full of ordinary joys. But ordinary lives can shatter in an instant. It started in the middle of the night. Sarah woke to the sound of Michael's breathing, labored, irregular, like he was struggling against something invisible. She shook him gently at first, then harder. No response. Panic rising, she called 911 while Jake stumbled into the room, wide-eyed. Sarah started CPR, her hands pressing desperately on his chest as Jake held the phone, relaying instructions from the dispatcher. "He's not breathing right," Sarah sobbed. "Please hurry." The paramedics arrived in minutes, taking over with practiced urgency. They shocked him, pumped his chest, pushed medications into his veins. But Michael's heart refused to cooperate. At the hospital, the emergency team swarmed doctors, nurses, machines beeping in frantic rhythm. For over 45 minutes, they fought. Chest compressions that cracked ribs, defibrillator paddles that jolted his body, drugs that should have kick-started his heart. Nothing. The monitor flatlined. A steady, merciless tone filling the room. Dr. Elena Ramirez, the cardiologist on duty, finally stepped back. Her face was drawn, exhausted. "Time of death, 4:47 a.m., she said quietly. The room fell silent. Nurses covered his body with a sheet. Papers were signed, death certificate, notifications. Sarah collapsed into Jake's arms in the waiting area, whispering goodbyes through tears. Family gathered, stunned, whispers of "he was fine yesterday" echoing in the halls. Some stories refused to end. The nurses prepared to move Michael's body, wheeling him toward a quiet room for the family to say final farewells. Jake, 17 and defiant in his grief, couldn't accept it. He'd been pacing the corridor, fists clenched, refusing to believe. "Dad's tough," he muttered to himself. "He's not going anywhere." Bursting into the room as they uncovered the body, Jake leaned over his father, voice breaking. "Dad ... wait. You're not dying today. Not like this." The doctors had already left, but one nurse lingered, checking the monitor out of habit. And then, a beep, faint, irregular. But there, everyone froze. The nurse's eyes widened. "Wait, there's something." She called for the team. Dr. Ramirez rushed back, staring at the screen. A trickle of electrical activity, a pulse. They squeezed the 4 bags harder, resumed compressions cautiously. Michael's chest rose slightly on its own. Another beep, stronger. He opened his eyes slowly, groggy, confused. The room erupted in chaos, shouts for more equipment, calls to stabilize him. Sarah and Jake were pulled in, tears turning to disbelief as Michael whispered hoarsely, "Wait, what happened?" Family and doctors leaned closer, shocked beyond words. Tests followed, cooling his body to protect his brain. Scans for damage, searches for the cause of sudden arrhythmia. Perhaps a hidden blockage. No one could explain why his heart had stopped so completely, or why it restarted after so long. Brain function intact. No permanent harm. Days turned to weeks in recovery. Michael went home, weaker but alive, hugging his family tighter than ever. He spoke little of those lost minutes, only saying it felt like a deep, dreamless sleep, but his eyes carried a new quiet wonder. Some endings refuse to end. Life finds a way through medicine, through love, through something inexplicable. And sometimes, miracles come quietly, in a hospital room, with a single beep refusing the silence.